Thanks, Glenn. Good evening. You're very welcome to what has become, other than birthdays and Christmas in my life, my favourite night of the year, where I get a chance to talk to some of my favourite musicians about their work. And tonight is very exciting, as you're thinking and know in your own head, because it's 40 years since Rave On, but we'll come to that in a moment. I am Steve Stockman. You're in my office. I happen to be the minister here in Fitzroy, but I'm also a planning group and board member of the Four Corners Festival, which has been going along all week. And bad news, you've missed some amazing stuff, but there still is some stuff that you might find amazing yet. And there are programs around if you want to look at that. We are very thankful to so many funders. You can read about those on our programs, but there are so many people who make this free. And the way I like to put it on a night like this is simple. If you think Andy and me, and it'll be me that'll cause this, if you think we're crap, then don't give us in at the end of the night. But if you think, I enjoyed that was interesting, those songs are fantastic, and Andy White's a great artist, and that was a different way of seeing Andy White than I usually see Andy White, then there are buckets. And you can, if you still carry coinage. Most of us have become royal recently, and we don't carry money anymore. But if you also get, and there are out at the door, there'll be a QR, and you can give us, in fact, you can give us by text immediately, which is the best way to do it. I've done that already this week. You can become a friend of the festival, and people used to say, you give money every month and that goes to the festival. What benefit is to me? 26 of them met Pope Leo just the other week because they were friends of the festival. So you never know just how good it would be to be a friend of the festival and support us all through the year. That's wonderful as well. Andy has a lot of vinyl, some of which is why we're starting slightly late. And I've already suggested that if you drove to Hollywood and back and you don't buy any of them, we will not be at all content with that. So, right across his whole catalogue are available, not only in CD, but on vinyl. So don't go tonight, don't go away without picking up some of that. I'm not sure there's too much else to say, apart from thanks to George for sound, for our stewards and all those who do the work behind the scenes, and for all of you for finding us and coming along to tonight. I bought Religious Persuasion as a 12-inch single, probably taken by an old grey whistle test video that was taken on the roof of one of our buildings here in Belfast, and was in there to buy Rave On the week it came out, and just loved that record in Belfast in 1986. And followed Andy all along since then. A brilliant double album recorded live on Abbey Road that you can also buy tonight, just come out last year, at the end of last year. So he's been making some amazing albums, and we're going on a journey with him. We're going to start right here on University Street, and we're going to take him all around the world, and we're going to bring him back again at the end of it, and you're going to enjoy that. And the committee members are saying, Steve, don't keep us till 11:30. So would you, without anything more to do, please give a big hand to Andy White.
Steve, how you doing? You in there? Well, bloke, we're going to sing to you.
Sing to us.
Hi, Steve.
Sing to us first. Give us a song. Let them know what they're in for.
Both of those were they were both borders.
I don't know about the fruity one, but there we are. I could turn it into something for you, but the Presbyterians don't let you do those miracles anymore.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for having us. Hope somebody's recording this so my mother can see me playing in Fitzroy Presbyterian Church. It's great. Sure, I'll start off, Steve, that's all. Protestant or Catholic, cried a voice from the crowd. Not you again, St. Peter, I was thinking aloud. Should have packed my bags, headed off for the coast. Had my time already come to meet the heavenly host. They switched on their halos, adjusted their harps, checked that the blades on the pearly gates were sharp. I asked them what they meant about religious bent. They said, that's the test, I said, that's the test I meant. They were given holy orders, I think you'll find I was up against persuasion of the religious kind. It was hailing Mary's at the drop of a tract. Said the 7 deadly sins were staying around at my flat. I pondered on the churches of England and Rome. I hadn't paid the rent for my spiritual home. Needed guidance from the leaders whose names I knew. Archbishop, whatever they're called now. John Player number 2. I switched on the halos, adjusted my harp. I quaked in my sackcloth, I threw away my joystick. I burned my Quran, said I was agnostic. I mean an atheist, I cried, removed it for the kill. The walls tumbled down as they handed me the bill. They went and trusted my distinctions. I think you'll find I was up against persuasion of the religious kinds. A lamb to the slaughter of human sacrifice, told the spiritual leader his scepter looked nice. A hymn book skinned my ear, but I was only grazed, and I dived for cover as the song of Bibles praised. In the gore I gasped, but it wasn't something I said. Then a solid granite altar hit me on the head. A collection plate plunged into my groin. They marched up discussing the battle of the Boyne. As I expired, I was thinking they'd been rather uncommon. But I was up against persuasion of the religious kind. So bleeding and naked, I was somewhat at a loss. The good Samaritan was out drinking at the sign of the cross. Recalling their question, I felt totally alone as I peered out from underneath the tablets of stone. In the gutter lay the crushed remains of a Bible. It proclaimed their grievances purely tribal. They made me see the light, for that I offer my thanks. I got collared by the dogs, now I've joined their ranks. Honoured Christian soldiers, I hope you don't mind being afflicted by religion of the persuasive kind. If you're living in some Irish town, the politician's head stuck in the ground, and the only bell ringing has a graveyard sound. Someone gotta stand up or nothing's gonna change till religion is rearranged. Da-da. Got most of the words right.
I think you did. There's a couple of different phrases and phrasings, but other than that...
It was good starting off with your gag about the water into wine, because that's the main thing about that song. It's got as many sarcastic religious jokes in it as I could fit into a song.
And yet you've that line that nothing's going to change until religion's rearranged. And I like to think that in its best moments, that's what the Four Corners Festival's trying to do. So thank you for saying. We might need to put that under the festival name next year or something like that.
Great. Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing. It needs not got rid of, but let's rearrange things.
That's a bigger rearrangement, we understand. If you were trying to get there, you wouldn't start from here, but we have to start from here. Let me go back home. I mean, what this does every year is it allows me for about a week just to listen to an artist and probably call it work. And I've been listening a lot to Andy White over the course of this last week particularly. And Home turns up a lot. Take Me Back and even Birds of Paradise. And there's a lot of times when you're back in Belfast, even though you haven't lived here for a long time, really. So is this home?
Yeah, always in my heart, for sure.
Because Liam Neeson is a lovely phrase about Ballymena. I know there are Ballymena people in tonight, so we have to be careful. But he says, I'm from there, but it's not where I belong. And I kind of, I sense a wee bit of that in myself. So, but for you, Belfast it's where your heart is.
Yeah, and I think you know it more the more you're away from it and you come back to it. So I'm on my way back home, always, really. It's actually going to happen, I think, at the end of next year, but I'm always on the way back, for sure.
Okay.
It's like the paving stone, Steve, like the walk to your house where you grew up, or Lisburn Road, or just around here, or you don't know places like you know here, like wherever you live. I've lived in Dublin and Europe and Australia, and you just don't know places like you do here.
Yeah.
Well, I don't.
Excellent. I was watching a video, Marie-Louise Muir and yourself, for the 30th anniversary of Rave On. And you're recording at the top of, I'll tell you, it's 800 steps up University Street, because I count my steps, and it is 800 steps up. And
from where to where?
From here. So if you walk up there, you have 800 steps. You get about 900 to get to Houlihan's Pantry, but it's about 900 steps to where this maybe will start it. Because if I'm listening to that song, wordy is the word I would use, and there's a Dylanesque thing there that I think caught many of us in the mid-80s with it. And it seems that there's a poet in there. And it seems from what I read that there was a poet until this moment happened at the top of University Street. And when you're being interviewed about it, I was looking today, and Fitzroy is 800 yards down there on the right-hand side from where your music career maybe started. Tell us that legendary story.
Well, a lot of I played in the school orchestra in Methy, but my hands were too big to play the violin. I was not very good at the violin, and I loved the double bass, and I played the double bass, and I could play the double bass. And I played the guitar a little bit, but I didn't really play the guitar. I just played the double bass and then the bass guitar, and then I got a drum machine. And I was also writing poetry. I was starting to write poetry, and I love beat poetry, and I love John Cooper Clarke and Dr. John Cooper Clarke now. Mm-hmm. And I put them together, and the first songs were actually written as poems, like Religious Persuasion was written. It wasn't written to be sung or with chords on a guitar. It was written with the drum machine and a bass guitar and words. That was it. And after doing some gigs, I did some gigs here like that. I did one at the Crescent, disco in the Crescent. That was the scariest gig of all time. Oh my God.
I'm frightened already. I'm frightened thinking of it.
Yeah, it's so funny going. I mean, the Crescent, I love playing the Crescent now. It's a brilliant place to play in Belfast. But you just think of the cheap lager and the downstairs and the playing with all the coolest people in Belfast wearing sort of goth clothes and looking like The Cure and Kate Bush. That was the scene. But after doing that for a bit, I was walking down University Street, and a guitar player I knew he lived in a flat on University Street. But I wasn't thinking of it until I saw a Yamaha 12-string guitar flying through the air, and it smashed on the pavement in front of me. Well, it didn't smash, but it cracked right up the back. I knew whose flat it was, and I looked up the window and said, Kieran, why did you throw the guitar out the window? And he was just fed up with that guitar, and I said, well, can I have it? And he said, yeah, sure, take it. And I took it, and I knew chords, but I didn't know very many chords, but I knew enough to change those poems into songs. And that was really the start of the whole thing. That's when they came to life.
I mean, did he know you were down below?
Maybe he did. Steve, I never thought of that, but you've now thought maybe he was actually throwing it at me.
No.
No, that would be in character. So that's. I thought it was a romantic story, but you've turned it into kind of a hit man.
I was thinking he knew you were not doing so well in the Crescent Arts and needed a guitar, and he thought, there's White coming down the road, I'm going to throw that out and maybe get him to change his career.
This is Steve rearranging stories, and its interpretation is one of Steve's great qualities, and I'm loving it, actually. Steve, you could maybe rewrite my whole life story.
Oh,
it would be
I think we'll try that. Fantastic. I just thought...
No, it's really good. No, it was great. I got an acoustic guitar. I was lucky enough to meet Rob McVeigh at school, who's like great bands. If you've got records, great bands. Okay, great bands. They probably met each other when they were teenagers, or when they were really young, or when they went to art college, or some kind of school together. And I didn't meet a band, but I did meet a one-man band, which was Rod McVeigh. And like you'll all have heard something Rod's played on. And we met him when we were 13 or 14. 14, he's a bit older than me, when I was about 14. And he had a school bag with John Coltrane and The Clash written on it. And I thought, oh, that's an interesting person. And he plays everything. And we played together since, like, the orchestra in school and the band in school to today. So
it's amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, you're also friends, and Glenn's in the audience, Glenn Patterson. And
I could see
Glenn was saying that...
I think that's Glenn there.
It's sitting down there.
Because even though I can't see very much, I can see outlines of people.
You...
Was that Glenn? Right, good, yes, exactly.
But Glenn was saying that, you were in a class in sixth form where he was in it, you were in it, and then some professor in some kind of literature in Oxford was in it as well. I mean, quite a...
There was one class Glenn and I were in where it was so difficult. I'm not sure why Glenn did Russian A-level, but he did, and I did as well. And the class had two people in it, and that was me and him. Oh, we had to do translation every week. We had to translate, and it was really difficult, like it's unbelievably difficult. And Glenn and I have read half of the greatest works of Russian literature you can name. He's read the left-hand page, and I've read the right-hand page. And the teacher, well, you know the way you say, the teacher never discovered, of course, probably the teacher knew absolutely that. But anyway, yeah, it was a little earlier than that. There was a great teacher we had called Sheila Smith, whose kids I still know, and Sheila took Glenn and I for English, but there was a normal-sized class, loads of people. Yeah, and there were three people especially who went on and absolutely... She was the kind of teacher a bit like the prime of Misty and Brodie and Maggie Smith, where she goes, let's forget about all that. Let's talk about ourselves, that kind of... Wow. Tell me a little bit about yourself. Let's put the books to one side, and then we're going to talk about poetry, and then we're going to get you excited about writing and books. And it worked, because there were three of the people in the class really made poetry or lyrics or writing their whole lives, really. So that was amazing. We all met by chance, I think for the first time, Glenn, since then, at Michael Longley's. There was like a thing in Malone House to celebrate his life, and we were all there in the same room at the same time, but that was the first time since fifth form.
Wow.
Yeah.
And if we go back further than that, you had a Methodist musical upbringing in some ways. So that's why you say your mother would be delighted.
I want to see a Methodist musical.
We could do that. I'm sure David Campton's ready to write that. But
Methodist
musical. They were Methodist and musical because there's a woman over here in the front row who I think your mother taught piano.
Oh, great.
Grandfather.
Is that Mrs. McDonough? Yes. And did she teach you in Methody or on the Ormo Road? On the Ormo Road. Oh, that's splendid. Okay, this is the big question. That was my auntie. But that's lovely. Did you meet Audrey? And my mum is called Joy. Yeah. She never stopped talking. So you're asking her loads of questions and to get out of doing the playing. It's so great because can you imagine if your piano teacher thinking, not knowing that was going on? It's like, wow, that pupil's really friendly. She just wants to ask me questions all the time. No, but can I ask your name? Francis Butler. Yeah, I think I remember. There was some pupils that Granny would talk about Francis Butler, that's one. 5 or 6, okay.
Wow.
You see, I think I know Francis' name. There was one called Judith Kimber she talked about. She's not here, is she?
She's known, though.
That's incredible.
I might just hand the microphone to the crowd here and just let it go.
We would know, because it'd be like, Judith Kimber or Francis Butler, she does her piano practice. Unlike you. Did she get a ruler out and actually go bang onto your knuckles? That's right. Different times. Did you all hear that at the back? Okay, so Francis is being taught piano by my grandmother, and she's been taught from age 5 to 20, something like that. And my granny had quite percussive methods of teaching the piano. In other words, she'd whack your hand with a ruler if your hand wasn't in the right position. And Frances just revealed it. On the foot pedals, she would put her foot onto yours and press it down if you weren't doing it. So that was the old way of doing it, I guess.
Yeah, as I was saying about your background family-wise, and begin to move from Methodist to quite cruelty now, where...
No, Granny was... That's terrible, yeah. Granny was unbelievable. She'd stand at the front gate on the Ulmer Road, talk to everybody. She taught James Galway the piano. She'd talk about that for ages. She came from Cootehill in County Cavan, and she always sounded like she came from Cootehill in County Cavan. And she was the first country Irish girl to go to the Royal Academy of Music in London. From growing up, okay, I always thought, is this going to happen in our lives? Are we going to change as much as Granny's life changed? Because she grew up in Cootehill, no cars, obviously nothing. Lord and Lady Darcy would come down from the big house, and she would play the piano, and they would give her bread.
Wow.
So she went from that to going to see Audrey, who you talked about, in Vancouver on an airplane, on a 747 jet. Can you imagine the difference of that? So Granny was amazing. Yes, she taught James Galway the piano, and when the Red Lion, there's one more story, Steve. When the Red Lion was blown up opposite her, it was right opposite. She was Methodist because her husband, she was a widow, but her husband was a Methodist minister, yeah, who died when my mum was really young, maybe in the war or just after the war. So she brought up the whole family through playing the piano and practicing the piano and playing in Ballinafine Methodist Church, and then the one in Donegal Square. Anyway, when the Red Lion was blown up, she never touched a drop. And McGurran from the Errigal comes in and goes, Mrs. McDonough, they've blown the doors off the liquor store. Can we put all the drink in the Errigal Inn? Can we put all the drink from the liquor store in your house? And you walk in the door. And it's great telling this story because you understand this, how serious this is. Like walking into the door, like little kids like you, your mum, Frances, drops you off. Oh, Mrs. McDonough, your front room is full of whiskey bottles? Yeah, that's what's going on. Anyway.
Fantastic.
So anyway, that was the Methodist thing I had. Was he died, so we didn't know, I didn't know my grandfather, who was, my mum and uncle and aunt were all born in different places because they moved You don't move very much, Steve.
Oh, Dave does.
But they moved every 3 years, I think, to a different church. They went to a different church, and he died during the war, and then Granny moved to the Ormer Road, and the church, I guess, played a big part in our lives because Granny taught a Methodist college, Belfast, and then we all went there. I think the kids boarded there for free. We met, Mum met lots of great friends like Sidney Callahan, who was a really great family friend. And the Methodist Church just looked after that bit of the family from then on, really. It was great. Yeah.
So around that...
So that's why there's so many religious jokes in religious persuasion, and that's why I was so confused, because I'd seen the great side of religion, right, growing up.
how friendly people could be. Sydney's like inventing the Samaritans, like what a guy. The soup kitchens, what, and then we're going to fight about it going to fight about it as well. Like I couldn't understand it when I was really tiny. I got up in church and talked to the minister. I would talk to the minister because I thought everybody should be able to.
Go easy. Don't encourage them.
I know I get to do it. I know I get to do it with
John, what are you saying? We're...
Yeah. No way. Amazing.
I'm just glad John didn't say I blew it up. That's where I was worried. It's amazing, though. The stories already in this room.
Yeah, that's incredible. Yeah, the stories are there. That's wild.
You see what you miss when you just keep singing.
And then it never was the Red Lion again, was it? It was a cafe or something after that, wasn't it? Or did it go back to being a bar? Yeah, I can't remember.
I'm gonna try and gain some control of this, but I think I lost it probably a long time ago. Tell us about Rave On, because 40 years, can you believe that to start with? Because I can't. 40 years ago, I mean, it has to be.
But yeah, well, I was going to the BBC like about 3 days ago, and there's a great young DJ. Well, he's younger than me. He's a younger DJ on Radio Foyle / Radio Ulster, called Stephen Macaulay, and he said he would like to do a whole interview just about Rave On, just about the first record. So I thought I'll get off the train at Botanic, I'll put on headphones and listen to it walking down Great Victoria Street.
Wow.
And it blew me away. Like, the first track is called The Soldier's Sash.
I know.
And it's...
What were you thinking?
Wild. It's really
1985, 86, and you're singing... And I suppose that there was a clarity of that you weren't on either side, I guess. Did that help? Because you say something.
Yeah, well, we thought there was an alternative. I mean, we weren't singing about an alternative Ulster by saying it, but there was another way. We didn't have to line up with this side or that side. We wanted to live our own lives and be able to do it without all the stuff that was going down at that time. So that's a strong position. I always thought war is over if you want it, or give peace a chance, or powers of the people were really strong sentiments. The strong sentiments don't have to be this extreme or that extreme. Can be very strong to be right up the middle. Let us live our lives. And that was the attitude, I think, of all those songs. So we weren't going to sing. If you're a band at that time, you might have been asked to play the national anthem at the end of a gig, even if it was a punk gig or like a rock gig. Not maybe in Belfast, but if you played in, I don't know, in the countryside or near the border somewhere. So what are you going to do? You're going to play the Soldier's Song? You're going to play the God Save the Queen? Or the Sash? No, we're not going to play that Sash. So the first track on that record on Rave On is called The Soldier's Sash. And it just takes the mickey out of both of those songs.
And am I right in saying...
From the start.
Am I right? I mean, Van's obviously always brought himself back to Belfast, but that was a very almost Belfast-centric record to be bringing out at that time.
Well, that's what I knew, Steve.
And yeah, but I mean, did you think that it would reach beyond Belfast? Were you surprised when it did?
Oh, no, I had no idea. No plan for... Yeah, it was completely different. The music industry or the music scene at that time it was an artistic thing. It was, I just wanted to express myself and record those songs at that time with those musicians in that place and put it out. I didn't have a career idea or an idea of what would happen after it. You know, you think if you can record and write as if this is the last thing you're going to do, especially the last song on a record, like all those records you can see out in the front. Like usually when you put them out, something in your head goes, this could be the last one. So the last track has got to be really good. And definitely with Rave On, The Big Rain was had kind of tragic thing about it, as well as being a very beautiful thing. It was so intense. Like, we were so committed to recording that record. You can't believe it. And that's, I think, when I walked down Botanic towards the BBC, I was just listening to it thinking, oh my God, oh my goodness. And in 1985, like, thinking of, what, is it an LP or CD? No, it's like in a cloud somewhere. It's playing online, and I'm listening to it walking down the street here with this kind of video in my head of grey, raining Belfast, and it's just absolute madness of the recording there. But I've got a picture of what it looks like as well, the record, which is of everybody playing in Randallstown in this little studio off the main street, and it's a very, I've got a visual album as well as the audio one. So it was very intense listening to it again, for sure.
I mean, you said there I presume it wasn't just you and Rod that were looking for something different.
Yeah.
And we're in 1985, 86, and I take it back some ways to Father Alec Reid at the funerals where he walked into those British soldiers being murdered on Aldershotstown Road, and we thought we were in the abyss, but he was getting a letter from Jerry Adams to take to John Hume to see if we could get the IRA into talks. And that's only a couple of years after you're talking about this. Yes, it took us another number of years to get us to ceasefires and more to agreement. But do you think there was something in the wind, the blowing in the wind of the spirit of Rave On that eventually worked, that was part of a movement?
Well, it's an honour for you to even think that, Steve. And that would be for people like yourselves who have an overview to point those things out, I think. I mean, that's what we were trying to do, go to say this doesn't have to be like this, it could be like this. Or just saying this is how it is. If you're like 21 and you're making music, this is how I see it, this is how I see my time and my place, this is it. And then if you interpret it like that, it's an honour, of course. Yeah, but you would hope there would be something leading to something more positive, because it wasn't very positive in 1984, 85 when I was writing that.
I mean, it's a chance to plug with Jamar Tisby speaking on St. Peter's on Sunday night, and he's already spoken at the festival. This is a world stage speaker from America speaking into racism, etc. And he just says, tell the truth. He was with students on Thursday, Wednesday here, and he was just saying, tell the truth, we need the truth. And you were singing a truth at the time that was, for me in my college hall just round the corner, it was yes.
Great.
So maybe it did.
Tell the truth, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's why people love, great artists, because they're just telling it the way it is, and whatever their truth is. And yeah, that was genuinely what Rave On was doing.
Sing us a couple of songs, and I'll work out after them where we might take this. Or, I mean, the way it is, the audience might take it another direction.
Throw it out to the floor. Sure.
Sing us whatever.
Which one?
Head.
Yeah, are we looking at... You had a...
I did.
You had a list?
Yeah, well, suggestions, Andy. I had suggestions. I mean, obviously, it's 40 years of Rave On, and you drove to Hollywood to bring vinyl in to sell, so you need to sing about that. And
I was thinking there might be written up in a list, like the numbers of the hymns.
Well, we should have thought. The only problem is we couldn't find them. We haven't used them for 100 years here, so... but anyway...
Let's sing in one more from Rave On.
Aye.
Yeah. This is a guitar. Yeah, this is the guitar from the front seat as well. So... that young guy. What's that? That's the Adbrit.
Yeah, Brit.
Oh, right. Yeah, it's such a precious thing. It's guitar. Rod calls it the best sounding acoustic guitar in Ireland, so it's about guitars. I ever play Reality Row. I'm just going to drink a bit of that. So yeah. How you doing? All right. I don't want to say tears, but every word. This song. I wrote this one in the countryside near Cavan, actually, in Clones, County Monaghan. This kind of place we would have been. Yeah, it was just a mad Friday night. It was. They were getting ready to watch Barry McGuigan. My old manager was there, PJ, Peter Jenner, who managed Billy Bragg and me, really amazing man. And every word of this song is true. The band was playing Bob Dylan songs, it was playing country and Irish classics. And yeah.
I was walking through this wild, borderline town. 2 flags sitting on a jailhouse roof and frost on the ground. The hotel band was singing, there were jewels in your hair. And then the smoke blew in, made a little room, and everywhere the television man got loaded and cried into his drink. The wallflower women, they all blushed pink, and nobody there even had the time to think about how far we've got to go to Reality Row. PJ walked in, he'd just been stoned all day. He'd had all these big ideas, thought he threw them all away. Outside the crowd was restless, there was no leader in sight. Oh well, the funerals had got cancelled, they were getting ready for the fight. And I walked straight into the ballroom, and I ran right into you. We hadn't met before, but I always knew we were going to. You said it doesn't half show. You've been too long, much too long, sitting on Reality Row. The candles burned lower as the dancers twirled, looked for number 9. Well, the band played a new tune, and the drunken priest rode over and died. You tell me all about your extramarital complications. You can save them up with your 19th century charity reservations. Oh. Wrap me up in your long coat and scarves. Let me take you away from this place, surrendered to the stars. You said, I have to say no to Reality Row. There was a news flash on the big screen. The 4 riders yelled, improve. Oh well, I thought I heard the thunder come in, but nobody was moved. And the whiskey flowed like water and the grind gave way. Everybody was placing bets, too busy to even pray. You said, I guess we better go to Reality Row. I was walking, well, we were walking away from that borderline lagoon. Going back to the city, my first floor room. You ask me, who am I? Where am I? When will we explode? I said that's something you said you should know about the about that road. Reality, reality road. Won't you use your mentality? Wake up to reality, reality, reality road.
All right.
Is that enough words for you, Steve?
There's enough words in there, isn't there? Yeah. Yeah, you're doing in the mid-80s what Dylan did in the mid-60s. Sorry.
You've got to get all the words in.
Got to get them all in. So you were saying, rightfully, why would I not think that the first album's about Belfast because that's all you knew? But then you did have to, I guess, you didn't have to, but if you were going to follow the music, you were going to have to take it wider. And how was it trying to find other things to sing about? Because let's face it, if you're a songwriter and you live in Belfast in the mid to early 80s, you have plenty to sing about.
What else would be on your mind, Steve?
Well,
as a 22-year-old,
well, obviously. Yeah.
what would be on your mind, Steve?
On
If you were doing your first album, you're 22.
If I was 22 and doing my first album, yeah, it would be.
You just moved to Belfast from Ballymena?
Just moving to Belfast from Ballymena.
You just moved to Belfast from Ballymena?
Yeah, that would have been.
What's on your mind?
Trying to get through, trying to bluff my lecturer at Union as if he was the first lecturer that didn't hear the excuse I made for dating, and that would have been on my mind. And trying to find my wife, but she'd taken off to.
Oh, hold on a second.
There we are.
Let's just rewind a little bit.
We're stopping there.
Did you say you're trying to find your wife?
Yeah, and failing miserably at that point.
Okay, that's even more interesting.
Yeah.
So you just got interesting and then more interesting?
Yeah. No, that part's interesting.
Like if you were Leonard Cohen, you might just have gone for that, trying to find your wife and failing miserably.
Yeah.
You might just have focused in on that.
I could have.
And it would have been great. So
you see, I'd be struggling already with a rhyme for miserably. That would be the difficulty.
Does anybody have a rhyme for miserably here?
Visibly miserably. Miserable visibly. Yeah, they were
mysterious.
They were looking at me as miserably visible. But so that would have been in my mind, exams and what was I going to do in my life. And
then you say invisibly is an interesting word. Yeah,
invisibly.
Yeah. So that's, there you go. There's another huge theme for you.
Yeah. Are we?
And that would be that's in Rave On as well, because it's not like there aren't really conventional like love songs, but there's songs like Vision of You, where it's like it's all about the setting. Is as memorable as it's not really saying, well, you just have to listen to it and think. And I think that's why they're good, those songs, because they're not trying to say, I love you, I miss you.
Is it the time to ask? Anybody think Visions of You was written about them? No, maybe they could be in the audience.
That's great. It's great you think the answers to the questions are in the audience.
Well,
like
that's possible.
That's it.
It's better than most preachers. They think the answer's right here, so.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
what are we doing, Andy?
So there are lots of things, like there's crazy stuff like the Soldier Sash. There's love songs which aren't really love songs, but they're set somewhere and there's something not happening. It's kind of mysterious and invisibly interesting, hopefully. There's that one. There's one called I Will Wait, about going and coming back, because if you go to the Scottish Song Museum, all the songs are about working. That's what they're about. And if you go to the Irish folk song archive, the songs are about leaving and coming back and being in love, or not losing love or being in love. And the songs are I Will Wait is like that, where I wrote that on the Belfast Liverpool boat, I think, leaving.
Okay.
And things start to unwind. It's like, yeah. I listened to it the other day. It's like, it's definitely poking fun at the House of Lords, and kind of rings a bell right now. Do you know what I mean? I was just listening to it thinking, yeah, right. Let's get rid of the House of Lords.
No, I was
get rid of it.
following you again through history for this, and you do say that occasionally, that things start to unwind has been one that has come back to you as meaning Brexit. Things were unwinding. The songs take on different meanings under different situations.
Yeah, so if you don't tie them down to specifically to one thing, then they start doing that. That's why they do it, I think. Okay. Yeah. So when you said blowing in the wind earlier and everybody knew what you meant, and it's really biblical, the lyrics of that, and it's really, everlasting, that's why, because it's not about one particular thing, though. It's not about the Cuban Missile Crisis. It might be about the feeling that was around at that time, and that's why songs last for a long time. They're not tied to one thing.
And you said to Mary Louise in that interview that, and we talked about it tonight, and you're not sure exactly, I can't remember exactly what you say, but it was almost that growing up here it wasn't a helpful thing, certainly it wasn't there was many things that weren't beneficial, but it did help you have to deal with life and division. And have you carried that with you into other places you've been and other songs that you've written later?
Yeah, I guess that's good. Yeah, because when you're a singer or a writer, you're telling your own truth, like we were talking about, but you're trying to make it mean something to somebody else as well. So you're trying to find that middle place where the audience, like the people listening or listening to records or performance, and the person who's writing or singing, there's somewhere in the middle where the audience are really important. Like, it's hard to explain, but they're actually part of that whole exchange. And that's a precious thing. And that's like, not reconciliation, but it's like whatever conciliation is, maybe, like getting together. It's a coming together kind of thing. And, even though people my age would have grown up, I was a little bit too young for the punk thing to be going to the punk clubs in town, though I went to Good Vibrations Records and sat on the stairs feeling not that cool, but feeling intimidated but excited. So we had that excitement, but we still had this, I still had like hippie stuff left over as well. And like the Beatles had only broken up 6 years before. So we had all that sort of conciliation, like let's get together, let's make it better, let's make things better. So I definitely had all that going on. And if you see the division and you're trying to make things better, or you're trying to work stuff out by writing or by playing or by singing, if you're trying to work it out for yourself and maybe for other people, then sure, you bring that with you forever, I think, Steve. So you're not just writing because somebody asks you to write a song about this or this theme, or write it for somebody else to sing. You're writing it yourself. Yeah.
So, troubadour for sure, because we think about it. You live in Dublin; that's not too far away. But then we have you in Vancouver, Montreal. We have you working with Stephen Fearing, who may not be sadly that known here, but is an amazing songwriter and guitarist. To say that I was in a radio studio with Stephen Fearing and Ian Archer, and Ian, and Ian's a very gifted guitar player, and we ended up after a gig in Dublin somewhere where Ian and Stephen were on the same late night radio show on RTE, and when Stephen played his guitar, Ian wanted to smash his loudon and give it up. Fearing was so good, and he was my wife and I's first date. We want to see Gregson and Collister, and Fearing come on first. So you end up writing with him in Canada. How do those collaborations that you have come about? Where do you meet people that you think I can write with?
Yeah, I would have never, when I wrote Rave On, I would never have had the confidence really to write with somebody else. I didn't for years and years. The first time I really collaborated with somebody was with Liam O'Moynley from Hothouse Flowers, who they were on the same record company as me. We went on a tour together and we just clicked as friends. and we became really good friends. And I would go down to Dublin, and I kind of found the music community that I never thought I had in Belfast. I thought in Belfast everybody was like really just doing their own thing, and they weren't really interested in like collaborating. But I might be wrong. I'm not saying I'm right, but I've never really found that in Belfast. Like I've reached out to people. I was here for 7 months last year, and I reached out to quite a few people. They'd just kind of give me crap replies, and nothing happened. So, but when I went to Dublin in the 90s, I really thought, this is great, because it was really hippie. It didn't have that punk, like, we're not talking to you, you're not cool enough kind of thing. It was just like, oh, this is the guy from Belfast who writes loads of words. That's him. And then there's the Hottest Flowers, where Liam was like the greatest singer ever, I think, in Ireland certainly. Sinead O'Connor, the other greatest singer ever. Not even in Ireland, just ever. Yeah. Then U2, and there were really the top people were there, and everybody had a place in the 90s. Everybody went to the same clubs and hung out and became friends, and that's where collaboration really comes from. So Liam and I started writing with another friend of ours called Tim Finn, and we started singing together, and I started getting more confident about singing in harmony, because there were three of us, and two of them were really great singers. Tim Finn is Neil Finn from Crowded House's brother, and was in a group called Split Ends from New Zealand. So he had met Liam, and Liam and I were sharing an apartment. They met in London. Liam said, "How are you doing, Tim Finn?" I had no idea. I've never heard. Well, he'd never heard Crowded House, even he'd never heard him. But Tim said, my mother brought us up thinking about Ireland a lot. She was from Cork, County Cork, certainly. And they grew up in New Zealand, hearing lots about Ireland. And Tim said, I'd never had a chance to live, to be there for anything more than just playing. And Liam said, well, why don't you come back and stay with me and Andy for a bit? And we became really good friends. And we were turned away from a nightclub in Dublin once. And Liam was like, oh, we're going to get in here, no problem. I'm well enough to get in. I'm well known enough to get in. He was turned away. No wonder, he was absolutely drunk. There's no way he should have been let in. And Tim was like, oh, don't worry about this, I'll get in. Anyway, we were totally turned away from this nightclub. And then we were walking home dejectedly. I tried third, like no chance. And one of the bouncers came out and caught up with us and said, come on back in, lads. We know who you are. We got back in. They gave us cocktails. There was dancing. Queen was playing really loud. And we went home really late that night. And Tim was just singing this. He was just singing this brilliant tune. And as soon as we got home, it was like, first we got turned away. Then we got welcomed in. First we got turned away, then we got welcomed in. And that was the first line of a song called Many's the Time in Dublin, which is really good. It's really good. It's too difficult for me to sing. But we wrote this beautiful song together about that evening. And that's really where the collaboration comes from. Friends, having fun, going home, singing the tunes, writing a story. It ends up being about being turned away from the inn, or from it ended up with like the manger and stuff. You
see,
like it ended
the Methodists, they're back in again.
They're back in, yeah. It was. What was it? There's a thing at the end of it about that. Yeah, it's. Yeah, many's the time I'd do anything just to belong. Many's the time what I did I would know to be wrong. I was only trying too hard. This is how it begins. Like it's beautiful lyrics, really good. And almost when you collaborate, last thing, Steve, when you collaborate, if you guys are collaborating, writing songs, you find that you have to find, this connects with what you said about bringing sort of reconciliation into all of your life. So if I wrote a song with you, Steve, we'd have to find a middle place where the song meant a lot to you and to me, okay? So if I tell my story, and it's not, collaboration isn't just you going, this is a better word, miserably isn't good, I like invisibly, why don't you use that? The whole song would have to mean something to you as well as to me. So when you're co-writing, you're finding a middle place where it means something to both of you. That means that the song can't be as individual to each person, but it makes it almost like, it's almost past the test of, is this song too personal to mean anything to you guys? If it is, maybe it's not going to. But if you write a song with already two of you are relating to what's going on in that song, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alison Russell, how do you...
Alison was just, I don't know, do people know Alison's work? Alison's just an incredible Canadian poet slash writer slash superstar. Yeah. She just was always like that. When I saw her first in, where was it, Shrewsbury? No, it wasn't. It was in Calgary Folk Festival. I just saw her perform, and when you hear her words, oh my goodness, like, she's really good. With Alison is a true poet, like, and she was always a superstar. She played with a group called Po Girl in Canada.
Yeah,
she has a crazy life story. It's wild. If you're a musician or a songwriter, you just know if you see somebody who's really good. She was always really good from the start, from then till now. She always was. She didn't like get better. She's just amazing all the time.
So you were trying to get into a bar in Calgary, and she couldn't get in, and you, how did that one?
No, she was in folk festival. She was in a folk festival, like on a main stage, and we bonded afterwards. Like, she saw us we're writers. Like, I'm a writer, yeah. And there's a song of ours called "If You Want It, Come and Get It," which is really a co-written. Like, if you're a real lyricist like me, it's really difficult to share words. But with her, I definitely could write words with her, no problem.
You got to sing it.
So I sing it for
you? I think you got to sing it. Yeah, there's a few, yeah.
I like that aspect of today, because you probably were all old enough to have watched, like, the Olivia Newton-John show, where she goes, what about that song?
Yeah.
Hey, let's do that one, Steve. Yeah. Should we do that one?
We'll do that one.
But this one, I definitely didn't. Was this on your list or not?
Yeah.
This was on your list? Yeah. Can we pretend it wasn't? Because the words are really hard. Right. I'm sure it was.
I'm going to play this. Oh, I'm worried about spilling this.
This guitar. See, it's great playing in Belfast because I didn't bring my guitar, all my guitars. So I just brought all my guitars. But after gigs, there is a certain type of gig where somebody comes straight towards you. You know, okay, I know what they're going to say to me. I know what they're going to say to me. I know what they're going to say to me. I know what they're going to say to me. That's a really small guitar. It's neat. Cool about a bit of this. If you want it, come and get it. Are you going to sing? Yeah, you're going to sing. This is a church.
This is the one. This is the one.
If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. You got it? If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. You can do it. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. We're hit for 6 by politics. There's a rude word in the line coming up, so I'm not sure if I can sing it. We're hit for 6 for politics. Treading water in the deep end, now we're in the shit. I seen your boyfriend, he looks familiar. I heard him laughing at a poor man, though the poor man was his cousin who was in a fix. You had your chance, and you blew it. You had the game in the palm of your hands, and you threw it. If you want it, here we go. Come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. Let's do it together. If you want it,
come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. Corporation got you yearning for the latest great invention, got you working for the man and never learning. Watch the meter, not the meteor. Dinosaurs walked for more than 60 million years. We're just a feed ya. You had your chance, and you blew it. You had the game in the palm of your hands, and you threw it. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. How come you feel so bad when you look so good? Too much plastic surgery, all that genetically modified food. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. Goodbye, John Wayne. Filming cowboy shooting Indians was never more than patter into foolish hate. It's not shaggy mate. You thought you'd be rescued by a man who wore the colours of an Empire State. I said, you thought you'd be rescued by a man who wore the colours of an Empire State. You had your chance, and you blew it. You had the game in the palm of your hands, and you threw it. But it's not too late, though you threw it. You know the game's still waiting on the ground. Just get onto it. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. Let's do one more. If you want it, come and get it. It's the last long evening on the planet. If you want it.
So the lines like Steve, like that. Cowboys shooting Indians was never more than pandering to foolish hate. That's like Alison for sure. It's like, and that the game in the palm of your hand and you threw it. That's like, would you say that about a game, a football game? You threw it. It seems to be like a Canadian person. Riley Meyer, guy, she's amazing. And we're thinking about Greta Thunberg, and it's really hard to write songs about the environment. It's really hard because we want to save the environment and like leave a better world than for our children than the one that we are making at the moment. We're leaving at the moment, but it's really hard to write songs about that stuff. That's really, and I think that's a good.
Yep. Do you find that the longer you go in it, 40 years in, that you've treaded places, and where are the new vistas that you can go and find? You want to say some more about the environment, but I said that in that song and I can't say it. Do you find that, or are you quite free to find new songs yourself?
Find new songs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it what you said earlier? Where are you? What do you? Because Graham Nash said that. Graham Nash said, when he wrote Our House, and he just said, Joni, you put the flowers in the vase that you bought earlier, and he just sat down and it's as simple as that, it seems, for those of you who can do it.
Yeah, that was the thing. That's good. Yeah, if you can just write down exactly what's happening, you get a sort of feeling that something special's happening, and it's like a moment, like a poetry moment. It's like a moment, like everybody has them. We all have them. There's a moment in the morning where everything seems right, everything's good, or it's like a sort of moment of like, okay, this is really dramatic. Stuff isn't right, or else it's just like, you hear a phrase or there's a time you just want to write it down. Like I always did that, so that's what I wanted to do, sort of write it down as well as remember it. So, like not having a phone is good. Like it's not great having a camera, a phone which is a camera, because if you don't have a camera, you write it down more often or you think about it in your head more often. So that's another thing. That's another thing, yeah.
You've been in Australia for a while.
Oh, there's another thing about collaborating. If you write songs with 3 people in you, 2 of you can write songs about the other one, and that's really good. And there's like quite a few combinations where 2 of you write about the sadness of the other one's love life, for example.
Go on, tell us. What? Who was...
Oh, there's a great alt song. We were at... Liam, Tim and me were at the opening of U2's hotel in Dublin, the Clarence Hotel.
I drove into that. I had to leave a guy called John Smith off.
You drove into the hotel?
I drove into the crowd. I didn't drive into the hotel. I wasn't getting a ticket to do that. But
So you were there that night?
I know where you were that night. I drove in that night, yeah.
Wow.
And drove out again.
Because we were pretending to be like A-list guests, but weren't. And we were there and we knew that, what was it? We knew that Liam was crazy about Dolores from the Cranberries, and he bought her a dress, a really beautiful dress made of... Maybe this is a private story I shouldn't be telling. Is this confession?
All the journalists have just pricked up their ears and they've got their phones out. And
Is this confession, Steve? Am I in the right place?
If it's your confession, it sounds like it's Liam's confession more than...
Well, no, it's my confession because Tim and I wrote... Well, it was pretty obvious that we wrote a song about it because Liam had bought a beautiful dress made by a great designer, who's a really famous designer, an Irish designer who knits really beautiful knitted dresses. And he had bought this for an unnamed Irish singer. And Tim and I knew this, and the unnamed Irish singer walked in through the front door with this incredibly handsome, really tall Canadian guy on his, like this.
Oh.
I know. And that's where, of course, Tim and I are going to write a song about that. The pretty dress, it was sung by the pretty dress you bought me. No, the pretty dress I bought you, I wear myself. Yeah. Guess what? Because by the end of the night, he wore the dress. The pretty dress I bought you, I wear myself. It wipes away the memory of someone else. Oh, thanks. You see, Steve, it works.
Yeah, no, it worked.
It works.
And Liam could get away with the dress, but there's a lot of women saying here that Canadian boy must have been pretty handsome. I would have took Liam Manley.
He was really tall. He was really tall.
Yeah,
I bet he was really nice as well.
I'm sure he was. So Australia, how did you make your way to Australia? I mean, it's as far nearly apart from New Zealand as you can go. So
yeah, well, it was to do with that because the 3 of us went, and this is about 1995. We made that record, and I was living in Dublin, so I lived here and then in England for a bit. Then I came back and lived in Cullybackey for a while because it was near the studio, and then
I'm from Kilgorm.
Right, you're from Kilgorm. That's
Kilgorm,
right.
yeah, just right next door.
Were you preaching near there, Steve? Did I miss out?
No, you didn't miss out. No.
Really?
No.
Did you promise?
I promise. You wouldn't have wanted to hear me preaching in 1986. No, anyway. Oh, dear.
Steve's greatest hits.
No.
His greatest sermons. So, yeah, then I was in Dublin, and then, Dublin. After Dublin, the Celtic Tiger, yes, it was there. You're living in a shared house paying rent in Dublin. You have friends who own the house, but you know that they want you to leave secretly, even though you're nice, because as soon as you leave, they can double the rent. And we knew we'd have to go somewhere, and it was me, my wife at the time, and Sebastian, our son. He was going to school there in Dublin, in Dunleary, in Sandycove. And Liam, Tim and I had toured in Australia, and it was this fantastic place. Just loved it immediately. And found a really great welcome. I'd never gone there before. It was like a new place. I could do a new thing. I could start again. And riders, and I'm not sure all riders, but some riders are trying to start again a lot of the time. You start from the same place, but you're trying to reinvigorate whatever you do or do something different. And yeah, I just loved this. Australian thing was great. We obviously played great tours because like Tim and Liam had done really well there. So I was signed up by a publishing company, but we didn't go in as business visa sort of people. We went as a little family and we were all the right age. I rang immigration and they said, quick, there's a Conservative government coming in and they're going to get rid of this visa category of writer. So if you're going to try it, go for it. And then they said, what have you written? And there was this song I wrote with an Indigenous singer called Christine Anu, and it was sung in the Sydney Olympics. Not the main ceremony, but the Paralympics opening ceremony called 'Cause I'm Free, a really beautiful song.
Kathy Foreman's tattoo or something?
That's right. Yeah, there was this, just to tell you the story, I don't know if you remember the Sydney Olympics in 2000. There was a fantastic runner, an Indigenous runner, who lit the flame as well, called Kathy Freeman. Yeah, and a friend of hers was called Christine Anu, this great singer, and she wanted to she wanted to get together and write a song about her friend Kathy, the runner, and we didn't know titles. So if you're writing songs, everybody, titles are really good to start from. Sometimes you get a title, and then the whole song comes from the title. And we were looking at pictures of Kathy, and yeah, on her arm is a tattoo which says "'Cause I'm free," spelt like that, like C-O-Z, I'm free. And that was the title, obviously. That was, if you're a writer, you just go, okay, that's the title of the song, 'Cause I'm free. And we just told her story very simply in the song. Anyway, yeah, you're talking to immigration saying, they say, well, what have you written? And you go, well, that song, 'Cause I'm free. And they checked, they'd seen it. So I was just lucky,
wow, but
also vibing the country, you know, in a sort of mysterious way. And yeah, we've been there. Well, yeah, I'm still there, but I'm coming back. But I've been there for a long time, yeah.
And I suppose we're coming back round now, but why would you want to come back? What is it just this?
Because my heart is here, because my inspiration's here, and my mother and father are still going, which I'm very lucky and honoured to be able to tell you at our age that my mum and dad are still alive.
Which is why we're doing this tonight. I don't know whether is Mrs. Gamble in the room. I did an event here last year. We did the Gospel according to Chris Christopherson, not long after the Four Corners Festival, and this lady of a sizable age came up to me and said, I went to visit my neighbour. She's in her 90s, and this lovely young man came in, and I started chatting to him, and it turned out he was a singer, and I would tell him about Ian Archer playing the Four Corners Festival, and he said, what is that Four Corners Festival? I think I've heard of that. I might like to play that. And his name was Andy White. And I went, oh, he's coming this year. And so it's really interesting that in one of those sort of residential scenarios.
Yeah, they've got just little apartments. And that's Marie. I don't know if Marie's here.
That's how.
The weather's really bad though, Steve, outside. Like, thank you for coming tonight, because it's really bad. The weather's really bad. I'm not sure. Marie, are you here tonight? No, I don't. She's not. I don't think so. The weather's really bad.
Sure, it's himself down there. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah.
Hey. All right.
Is Catherine with you down there, no? Well, this is the tribute show.
So and that, ladies and gentlemen, is how rock and roll works.
Well,
so it's who you know.
Before we get you home, what will you miss about Australia?
Okay. The answer is in the last 2 minutes of conversation.
Okay.
But it does rain there. When it rains, it really, really rains very, very hard for a very long time. But it has a beautiful, very long kind of getting ready for summer and after summer is over, which is really beautiful.
Yeah,
that's really good. And what will I miss about Australia? I've had a fantastic time there, and I guess I'll miss if my son stays there, and I come home, then I'll miss him. But that's fixable. For sure.
Yeah. So, well, I'll tell you what. Before we get back to Rave On, now I haven't. This is what I'm jumping on for today. I was listening to that the guilty and the innocent, and I think that's a great sermon.
This song is a sermon.
That's a great sermon.
Okay.
Can you do it? Because it's just. I just think for us, there's something about it that. It has us all rehumanized and has us all lacking. We can't judge anybody else because we are both the guilty and the innocent. And I just was listening to the thing, and that's a sermon in itself.
Okay, tell us more, Steve. That's good.
No, well, for me,
So it's not about saying these people are guilty and these people are innocent. And
correct. To me, love of God's unconditional. So if you have the love of God as unconditional, then that love is for the guilty and the innocent. And all of us are guilty, I think. I don't think any of us would dare to think if we sat down here and said, I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to write a song about a few of the naughty things we did in the last couple of weeks. We'd probably be able to write a song. And then if I asked myself to write a song about the good things, I'd probably struggle with that because we're not good in Northern Ireland about talking about the good things we do. So we find it easier to know that there's something within us that's broken and cracked, and that's where, of course, Mr. Cohen says the light gets in. But it seems to me that at this festival, what we're trying to achieve is this idea that love and humanity transcends who we are and what we've done, and that we're all equal and we're all equally loved. And that song said that to me when I was listening to it today.
That means a lot to me. Thank you, Steve.
Can you give it a lash? As Jack Charlton would have said in the early 80s.
Sure. I could try this one. This is but she named that song, so.
Or is this one? And this one's Canadian with guitar. This is from Canada. And this one's in D. Okay, I'll try this.
Cool. Yeah, so this guitar's from Canada. It's really lovely. It's okay. Yeah, I wrote a series of songs in 2017, which ended up on a record, which ended up being called The Guilty and the Innocent. And I wrote songs about specific things. It's the opposite of what I said earlier, because that's what happens for songwriters. There's not really any rules at all. You can say this is what it's like, and then an hour later do the opposite, and it's equally as good, or can be equally as good. But yeah, I wrote songs about I just had to, the Manchester bombing, do you remember that? And Grenfell Tower, and all these things happened in 2017, and or kind of some of them are happening again this year. Seems to be on a repeat. And at the end of that year, when I had all these songs lined up, thought, right, this is the way. I don't mind if they're out of date, like next year. I feel really strongly about these things, and especially Grenfell Tower, which has not really been resolved. And then I knew that it was pointing a finger at the record, and The Guilty and the Innocent was the song which really said what Steve has eloquently summed up. We're all guilty and innocent.
The guilty and the innocent. We'll soon be on the same side. They went out walking. down to the Great Divide. It's where all of us who are restless and don't know which way to turn, after all this philosophy, still got a lot to learn. The guilty and the innocent, been on a religious ride. How's that working out for you? I heard too many people have died. It's a medieval painting, faces contorted in pain. Either that or a demonstration to give equality another name. The guilty and the innocent will soon be on the same side when the stars come crashing from the sky into that great divide, and the undertaker's laughing. He got a message on his phone. There's a dog playing piano and a cat chewing on a bone. The guilty and the innocent have found a new place to hide, right beside the temple dedicated to Frankenstein's bride. You can worship who you want to. The auction ends at 10. Michelangelo retired early to study his motorcycle zen. The guilty and the innocent, with their eyes open wide, trying to work out in the dark who it was who lied, while a fully furnished garbage truck collects evidence for the trial, while the anxiety surgeons discuss the secrets of denial. The guilty and the innocent, standing in Canute's tide. The president and all his men have got a number on the inside. And Marilyn walks by, wearing a swimsuit of Virgin Mary blue. We'd seen this movie before. Everything except the ending is new. The guilty and the innocent, and the LGBTQI at 45 RPM. The revolution is open wide. You asked me for a roadmap. I offered you a link where you can download salvation and buy us all a better drink. The guilty and the innocent, it cannot be denied, look a lot like you and me when we're standing at the graveside. Justice slams his gavel wherever roses bloom, and Jesus himself is breaking bread on the dark side of this room. The guilty and the innocent got the book of Revelation by their side. They're looking through a one-way mirror, but they're standing on the same side. Justice slams his gavel wherever roses bloom, Jesus. He's always there, on the dark side of the room. The guilty and the innocent, they're the same as you and me. With Nelson's eye on the horizon, experience comes too easily. Nothing comes from nothing, and everything comes to an end. No direction home. Home is where the hurt can mend. Nothing comes from nothing, and everything comes to an end. The only direction is home. Home is where the hurt can mend. Home is where the hurt can mend. Okay.
See you, man.
See, good Lord. Sorry, George. My planners and directors are saying he's been going a while now, and we could talk all night, and hopefully we will, but you'll not all be with us at some other time. But there was another song that I couldn't help but thinking would be. You talked earlier about finishing an album with a song that might be your last one. This might be your last one in Fitzroy for tonight. It certainly should be for tonight, but maybe not forever. But there's a song you sing called Get It Right This Time. And it just seems to me that that's what we got to try and get to do, is get it right this time. Yeah, there's something about benediction in that, something about closing off something. There's almost a prayer in it that we could get it right, or more right than we have been.
It's funny you say that, because there's another like dodgy sounding government policy called Get It Right First Time, and you think, have you heard of that? Like, what's that about? Like, you don't have to say first time. Get it right this time. It doesn't have to be the first time. Do you know?
So it seems to me that's
we're just trying to get it right.
Yeah, it's a good way to pull all this to a close. I want to congratulate you. 40 years is quite the career, and we've pulled out songs tonight from way beyond Rave On from 40 years ago, and most of them are on vinyl or CD in the back left-hand corner with a really nice T-shirt as well, if you want to pick that up too. 40 more years would be great, Andy, and we appreciate you coming from here, and we appreciate you loving here and not giving up on here that you could have, but continually coming back, and we long for that time when we can appreciate you being at home more. So thank you for coming tonight, thank you for being honest, for sharing what you do, and play us out, and maybe we might get it right, do you think?
Right back at you, Steve. Let's hear it for Steve and everybody from the festival, all the people. Yeah. Get it right this time. And when you're far away, you can travel in your dreams. Dreams are great for sorting things out in unusual ways. Get it right. I dreamed I was back in Belfast, drinking on the roof of the Writers' Bar, kneeling down before the cathedral,
A line on my back was making me see stars. The piano player was getting nervous. You were leaning on a chair. A long black dress open to the waist. You were busy curling up your hair. It's so easy to get distracted. It's so hard to cross the line. I dream of other places. I'll get it right this time. I'll get it right this time. The guitarist's going crazy. He's drinking vodka by the glass. And the record store owner telling stories. Wonder who that is. Ah, the time goes by too fast. You took a present from your pocket. With a smile, you offered it to me. We were laughing in the evening rain, not 2 miles from the sea. It's so easy to get distracted. It's so hard to cross the line. I dream of other women. I'll get it right this time. Oh, yeah. I'll get it right this time. Took a walk down by the cinema, all along the Dublin road. That's where I first met Maria, when the cars were all set to explode. We joined up with a demonstration that was heading for the centre of town. The banners screaming no. I couldn't wait for the curtains to come down. It's so easy to get distracted. It's so hard to cross the line. Dreamed that night of justice. We get it right this time. We get it right this time. 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 Took a taxi on the corner beneath the smashed streetlights. Headed off into the distance on that holy Belfast night. That holy Belfast night. Holy Belfast. Crossed the bridges to the other side of town. Crossed the bridges to watch the evening sun go down. Thinking, get it right this time. 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 Get it right this time.
Andy White. 40 years since Rave On.
And that's Steve. Thank you. All right.
Thank you so much for coming out. You're going to need to do another one, brother. I think so. They're demanding of it. We don't need a riot in the church. We need you to sing another one.
Sure. Which one's Birds of Passage? Yeah. Okay.
What a good choice. The audience have been amazing, haven't they?
They have been brilliant. Amazing. I have to remember. What was your name again? It was Ruth Baxter, is that right? What was your name? What was it? Granny's
Francis Buck. Right. Okay. If you don't remember that. Okay. Good.
Do you remember Guns N' Roses? Do you, Steve?
I'd rather have roses than guns.
I'd rather have roses than guns. I had to get back to Belfast City, where the jeeps are green and the girls are pretty. London town been getting me down. I gotta get out before the leaves turn brown. You and me both heading north, backdoor drifters on an exile's course. Belfast City, but it could be anywhere where birds of passage flying through the air. Birds of passage leaving no forward in address. No name, no number, no nationality, no need to even impress. Oh no, to even impress. The marching bands play snare-shot tirades while Mother Ireland sways like a stripper on the stage. And the politicians mix religious drinks with a twist of the tricks they nicked from all the Old Testament plagues. You and me both staying up late, playing tapes well past the sell-by date. Birds of passage, leaving no forward in address. It pays to wait all week to discover Sunday's best. Oh yeah, don't you know that Sunday's best? And everything American is on sale because it happened in a movie long ago. Up and down the women go, talking about the cinema on the sandy road. You and me know, being born here, wanted to leave is like learning how to breathe. Birds of passage, leaving no forward in address. And me in my passport suit, and you in your non-political party dress. Take off that party dress. Oh. So it's getting near time to be moving on. Getting restless doesn't take that long. I'll meet you at the clock down by the docks where the birds swoop down from their parking lots. You and me both, driven so close, the pillow is our pillar and the coast our post. For us birds of passage, leaving no forwarding address. Too much no today, no tomorrow. Don't they even know the meaning of the word yes? Birds of passage, leaving no forwarding address. Oh yeah, when we fly this close, I can almost feel your breath. Feel your breath. Birds of passage, flying from the face of failure right into success. All I'm hearing is no today, no tomorrow. All I want to hear is the word yes. No today, no tomorrow. Gotta try a little home time, tenderness. I know all about home time, tenderness.
So do you. In your hearts, you do.
And I gotta get back to Belfast City, where the jeeps are green and the girls are pretty.
Andy White, thank you so much. There are CDs, there are vinyl albums, there is one 10-inch of groovy kind of, you gotta get it down there. So groovy.
I love your selling technique.
It's yet one. I have one at home. They must be worth a fortune. There's just one there. The first out gets it, and there will be tea and coffee through here. Will there, my dear? And Andy will be about for a little while. So thank you so much for coming. If you think that was worth nothing, go home. If you think it was worth something, then what about a QR code or send a text or putting money in our buckets and make sure that we can do something like this again next year. Thank you very much for